Well, welcome back to another Bloody Shed video. So if you watched the Queen's birthday videos, you would have seen that, yeah, I've done some damage in the wagon to the rear diff, potentially. There's a couple theories on what's happened, but it's a bit of a strange, it's a strange break because of how it happened, and then it's made no noise or whatever. So bit of a weird one going on. But what I had to do anyway is put a GU rear housing in it. It's part of the engineering thing. So yeah, I've got a GU rear housing here. It's not ready to go. I've got to make it ready to go. So GU housing. So what I'm going to do is just finish this housing off. I've got to brace it and do whatever. I've got a spare center on the shelf, luckily. So yeah, pretty much what I'm going to do is assemble this whole housing and then get the car in here and roll the broken housing out, roll the new housing in, and then yeah, we'll check out what's going on with the rear housing in the wagon, see what's broken in there, center, axles, whatever. So yeah, first job is I'll strip this down, get it ready, brace it all. I've got to do bump stop extensions, probably pull the calipers apart, and yeah, things like that. Just get it all ready to roll in. So that's probably going to be a decent job in itself. And then yeah, in this video towards the end, we will strip down the diff in the other car. So we'll see what's happened to that. So if anyone's curious, I do actually have a GQ housing right here too. And having them sit next to each other and see if there's any differences. The only difference I can pick, other than the brake calipers are a little bit different, but I want to check if they bolt up to the GQ, see if they're interchangeable. Maybe the back spacing is different or whatever, but yeah, I'll check that out. But the only physical thing I can see is this. So if you have a look at that distance, this flange on the end, that's like, I think it was like 30 mil or 25 mil. And then this is like 5 mil. So the housings up until this point here, the housings look exactly the same. There's no extra bracing, no different design from what I can see. Shock mounts, everything's the same. Panhard mounts the same. So yeah, that's the only difference, because the GU front housing is like 50 mil wider than the GQ. And I'm assuming that Nissan have done that to match the rear to the front. So obviously the axles are that little bit longer too, 20 mil longer or whatever. So yeah, that's really the only difference I can see. And yeah, if anyone wondering. And I did get most of my suspension stuff that I needed. I'm still waiting on the 1 bypass shock, but I did get my new rear coils and the 2.5 rear shocks. And yeah, I went down to Roadrunner the other day and picked up a coil hat brace for the rear, to also part of the engineering. So yeah, when the housing's out and it's just, yeah, the rear end, I'm going to put the brace in and do all that sort of thing, get it ready, new suspension in. So yeah, we've got a fair bit to do, but that won't be all in this video. That'll be in the next video, but it's something to look forward to. I'm not very motivated for this at all. I really just cannot be bothered. I actually haven't even touched, it's been like 3 weeks since Queen's birthday. I haven't even looked at the car, so I haven't been very motivated. I just worked so hard on it and it's broken again, and I was just like, I just want to drive it. So anyway, we'll get stuck into this because I do need the car going because I want to go camping. So all right, well, it's all stripped. I'm actually gonna, because it's full of dirt and full of all sorts of crap, so I'm actually gonna gurney it outside, give it a full clean out. And yeah, obviously I noticed this panhard, the inner steel bushing is seized onto the mount, so I'll have to oxy that off and clean her up and ready to brace. And well, it's all washed up, so yeah, I'm going to get into bracing it because that's an annoying job. Alright, so I made a little bit of progress. It's nearly done. I've just got to weld the back side. It is currently welded to the bench, just to keep it there. So when I weld it, stops it moving. Similar to what I've done to the front diff, but yeah, just so, yeah, when you weld it doesn't peel the ends up or anything silly. So This is all welded and braced to the bench. But yeah, it looks good. It looks bloody beefy. I know it's bloody heavy too, so it looks like a massive overkill. But anyway, we'll see what happens. It does sort of cut off this, you know, the pumpkin sort of goes up there, sort of fills that in and brings a little bit lower here, which I don't know if that's going to be a problem or not. I suppose I'll find out. But anyway, it is what it is. So yeah, I'll flip it over, finish welding her off, and then at least that part of it's done. And I'm just trying to get this the panhard bush off. So yeah, obviously the inner sleeve has been seized onto the diff, and then the rubber bush has come apart from that. So I've just welded this makeshift slide hammer, tail shaft uni, and you know, bit of a home jobby slide hammer. It seems to be getting it off, so job done, 2 minutes. Oh, I've just slapped a bit of primer on it. Yeah, ready for paint. I've still got to actually extend my bum stops now that I think about it, make a little bum stop plate, but that's pretty easy. But I forgot that I have to be somewhere, so I've got to go. I'll finish this during the week. Well, I'm back. It's the next weekend. I was planning on doing a bit during the week, but I've been flat out and it's been really cold. By the time I finish work, it's dark, and yeah, it's bloody cold. So I haven't been really motivated to get out of here during the week. But anyway, I've got this back on the bench. I'm just making up some bum stop spaces. So, you know, be like a box section piece. And I'll just weld it on there. It's the same on the other diff. Yeah, so that's all I've got to do to this. And then I can put it together. I've got to grease up the axles and then pull the calipers apart and just clean them up and re-grease them and that. I think I need some brake pads as well. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So I'll finish this off, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my car in here and roll the other diff out and strip that down, because I'm really keen to see what's broken in it. Yeah, like I said, it's a bit of a funny break. So yeah, we'll check that out, and then that'll be it. So I'll get stuck into this, and then hopefully soonish I can start pulling the rear housing of the other one. Well, it's job done. So I've welded the bum slot spacers on. It's all, everything's done. Quick Dulux rebuild to make it look good for the first 20 kilometers, and yeah, she's ready to go. So that won't take long to put back together, but what I'm going to do first is get the wagon in here, pull it out, and assess some damage. Well, we're not supposed to have that much stuff on there. I've already made a start. Pulling this out, throws on a time lapse, and shouldn't take long to get it out. Alright, well, we rolled it out. It didn't take that long, like a bit under half an hour, and it's out. So one thing I didn't mention on the last video is I've got more sway bar problems. So I don't think I've done a drive lately where I've managed to keep this sway bar in the car. But if you have a look up here, if you can see that, the sway bar bracket is gone. So it broke off. I've actually got it in the back of the car. Yeah, broke off on like the second day of the Queen's birthday trip. I did see it was fatigued. It was a little bit bent and cracked, and I was supposed to fix it before we left, but I didn't write it on my list, which meant I didn't do it. So much like the left side where I beefed it up a little bit, I needed to do the right side. But now that it's fully broken off, I don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah, I might go to like a superior sway bar, because as good as this sway bar is, like the car handles unreal with the sway bar in. Yeah, I'm struggling to keep it in the bloody car because it's so stiff. So yeah, I'm going to try, I might try out the superior sway bar. That'd be the easiest option. I could go to like a torsion style sway bar, but I don't think I really want to do that. So yeah, that's that. So anyway, diff's out. I did spin the tail shaft and that, so I've got a bit of a hunch at what's happened, but I'll start stripping it down and we'll diagnose. All right, well, I found the problem. So at the time on the trip, I wouldn't have thought this would have been the problem. Yeah, and the way it happened, I'll explain in a minute. But yeah, this was something that it didn't even cross my mind that it would have been this. But when I got home and I thought about it a little bit longer, this is what I was thinking, exactly what happened. So here's the problem. We've got a snappy boy axle. I've never broken a rear axle before, so this is new for me. And seeing that, I sort of hope that the gear set's all right. Hopefully there's no remnant pieces that the gears have picked up. There's obviously a lot of shrapnel in there from where like the skewed off ends rub on each other in the diff. And it started making noises on the way home because I reckon the other piece of the broken axle slipped out a little bit and then was rubbing on each other. So that's a problem. Yeah, I'll be pretty annoyed if I pull the diff out and the gears are no good. I'll be a little bit upset about that, but that's just the way it goes. So the reason I didn't think about that on the trip, because as it was at the top of Barkley River Jeep track, right at the very top. If you've driven the track before, you'll know the section. It's just before you peel out to the top, and there's a pretty nice little rocky stepped out section, and it was wet, and I had a bit of a go at it, and then I went up. I got a bit stuck, so I backed back down and chose a different line, and I was on the left-hand side. So the car was actually leaning over to the right-hand side, and yeah, that's when like I sort of punched it a bit, and that's when I let go. So it's funny that it's a left-hand axle because that would have been actually unloaded as such because the car was leaning over to the right. But the LSD is not that good, like it was pretty worn out. So having load on the right-hand side, it would have sent all the drive to the left, but it's just funny that it broke. The reason I think it broke is I don't know why I've done this. Sometimes I do weird stuff. So this is cut off, if you can see that. I'll get a better look. So that's cut off there. If you have a look at this axle, that's what it usually looks like. It's got this mount here for the backing plate. Now I cut them off to fit the second caliper on the race car. So God knows why I have put an axle out of the race car into here. I don't know, maybe I just missed that. Maybe I was in a rush. I've got an abundance of axles. I got like 10 over there. So maybe it slipped my mind. I don't know. So I'm just going to suggest that this one's been in the race car and it's been pulled out of the race car because it's there's something going on with it. I don't know. I always check the twisted splines, and I can't explain why that one's in there. I don't know why. So yeah, that's what I'm going to say. It was potentially already fatigued and broken. So that's why it would have broken so easy, because realistically, I wasn't really doing anything that bad. So anyway, I'll whip this center out and we'll see what's going on with that. Hopefully it's good. Center's out. Here's a couple. So it breaks where they always break, right at the very end. They're right where it necks down to the last little bit. This is the skinniest bit where it goes into the diff. And yeah, this is where they always break. So yeah, a couple little remnant bits in there. Yeah, there's a lot going on in here. A lot of bits of steel all chewed up. Anyway, so bad news about the diff. RIP diff. It's actually, inspecting the gears, it's actually not bad, but it's not bad, but there is one big chunk out of one tooth of the crown wheel, the pinion, and you can see there's marks on the crown wheel from where that's been rubbing. But if it wasn't for that, the gears actually still look pretty good, so that's a bit of a shame. And yeah, you can see here where it breaks. It's actually it's not too bad there. Usually it screws apart and expands that out, and then yeah, blows that all to bits, blows the bearing to bits. You can actually see what looks like a crack in the inner bearing race by the looks of that. But anyway, it's broken. So that's a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. Now I've got no spare rear center, so I'll have to sort something out with that. But I'm done buying secondhand centers, so I'll be buying brand new gear sets and whatever from now on. Just easier that way. So it is what it is. Broken that, so a bit of a costly one. I don't know, call it $600-700, but it is what it is. Sometimes this stuff happens, and like I said, the small, I don't know why that axle was in there, but if yeah, it's been in the race car before, so it's probably already half buggered. But yeah, so on the shelf, I've got that 4.6 that I shimmed up. Like, I made a video on it. That was probably like probably nearly a year ago, I guess, maybe, I don't know, I can't remember when I put it up. So that's been chilling on the shelf, and yeah, the GU housing is ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up, pack all this broken stuff up, and then I'm going to put that other housing together, put the 4.6 in and put the axles in, grease them up, and do all that fun stuff, which is not very fun at all. And then yeah, if you've noticed a few random boxes around, I've got new rear suspension going in, so that's got to happen too. Rear shocks, rear springs. So I hope you enjoyed the video. That's yeah, it's good that I can put my mind at rest now. I know what's happened and I know what the damage is. So yeah, on the next video we'll put all this back together, and yeah, you'll see that next week. So sort of a nothing video this week again, but anyway, it is what it is. So hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. Yeah, all that stuff's appreciated. I'm always reading the comments and whatever, so yeah, keep an eye out for that. And I think when this video drops, will be the last day that the pre-orders for the like the merch, the t-shirt and jumpers. So if you want one of them, make sure you message me like tonight when you watch this, because yeah, they're probably only going to be open for tonight, maybe tomorrow. But anyway, get on to me. So see you on the next one.